There are three groups of people that could customize how an applet works. The first, of course, is the developer. If you, as the developer, want to change the behavior of the applet, you change the code of the applet, obviously. The second group is the end user. If you, the developer, want to let the end user change the way the applet works, then you would have to provide graphical user interface controls. You'd have to provide text fields or sliders or checkboxes or whatever. But there's a third group, the deployer. Not necessarily the person who wrote the Java code, but the person who wrote the HTML code. In the pre-HTML5 days, it was quite common to use Java for charting applications. So you have the same applet, but the HTML specifies what kind of chart or graph that it draws. Okay, so inside the applet tag, there's another tag called param. And the param tag can pass information to the applet if the applet author plans for that tag being there and looks for that information. And so then in the Java code, you call getParameter, and you pass in the name from the param tag. It's case sensitive. It has to match exactly. And if that parameter exists in the HTML, you get the associated value. If the parameter does not exist in the HTML, you get back null. So here's an example. Suppose I want to let the HTML author customize the background color of the page. And the HTML author is going to use a param tag with the name background and with various different values. And then my code is going to read that parameter and change the background color based on what the HTML author supplies. All right, let's make an attempt at that. All right, so I want to read the background color. String bg for background equals get parameter background. Okay, and then let me warn you, I'm deliberately doing something bad. If bg equals light, then set background to color.white. And then I need an import statement for color. So I will add that in here. Otherwise, set background color.black. Okay, so trick question alert, but the question is, how many different background colors can you get in the applet with this code? Okay, think about it. And the answer is 1, not 2, because I used equals to compare strings. That will always fail. The parameter that came in is not the same string object as the one that I have here. They're different string objects, so this will always fail. So it'll never show a white background. It'll always show a black background. Okay, yes, Marty, we know every single thing you mentioned in every single slide I've remembered perfectly, and so I know not to use equals to compare. I know that I should use the equals method, not the equals operator. Everybody knows that, Marty. Okay, fine, all right, so let's try it again. If background.equals light. All right, now I'll ask the same question. How many results can I get? In the first one where I used the equals operator, I thought I could get 2 results, but I could only get 1. Now it sure looks like I can get 2 results, but I can get 3. A white background, a black background, or crashing with a null pointer exception. Because the problem is if that parameter name does not exist in the HTML, then that variable is null. You cannot call null.equals. Always plan ahead for malformed or missing data from end users. So I need to do something else. Somehow I need to account for the fact that it could be null. There's lots of different ways of doing that. One of them is to check for it explicitly. If bg is not equal to null, and so that I don't have to remember about which operators have precedence, I usually put in parentheses. If it's not null and it's equal to light, that's one way of doing it. But somehow or another, you need to handle the possibility that the data is not there. Okay, so let's go back to our example. So somehow or another, we need to handle the possibility that the user supplies the wrong kind of data, either leaves off the background parameter or spells it wrong. Not only should you check for missing and malformed data, but you should make test cases with missing and malformed data. So if I think in my code that I account for the possibility that the data is not there, I should make a test case that verifies that. So I made 3 applet tags, one that supplied a background of light, one that supplied a background of dark, and one that didn't supply it at all. And I verified that I got the right behavior in all 3 instances.